Yo, what up, fam? How we doing?
We're bored.
Tango. Dude, I'm
we
so
are bored. This has been the most hyped up, disappointing free agency ever so far. I need some things to happen.
For real, man. I feel like I do this to myself every year.
But I feel like every year hasn't been like this. It was everything was hinging so hard on Ohtani, and we kind of thought the floodgates were just going to open after he signed. Of course, he signs with the Dodgers, which, as fooled as many of us were, so uninteresting. He goes where everybody predicted he would go for the last 5 years, and then yeah, you wanted the floodgates to open. We've had a couple moves, obviously, that we'll talk about, but it hasn't been like the downpour of moves that we all expected. So it's like we're all just kind of, especially Jays fans right now, we're just sitting here like, what's going to happen next?
Yeah. And myself being a Braves fan, I feel like we're pretty much done in the offseason. I'd love another starter or two. But overall, I do this to myself every year. And I think it's, I don't know. I set myself up tons of moves in the offseason, a lot of free agent signing. I think outside of Ohtani and a couple of guys from the KBO, Jung-Ho Lee, shout out him, his new Giants deal, which we'll go over in a little bit. But there's only so many moves that will happen as far as free agents. There's only so many free agents that it's like a double-edged sword. I want them all to sign. I want a flurry of moves, but at the same time, if that flurry of moves happens, what's left for the rest of the offseason, There's only so many moves that can happen.
Then we'll just be twiddling our thumbs until spring training.
I know. Then we'll want trades that make no sense just to keep us entertained.
I already want trades that make no sense. There's all this random talk about the Jays looking into Christian Yelich, and I don't even know how I feel about that. I mean, obviously, I'm never going to be mad at getting a former MVP on the team, but then people keep making it bigger and bigger. Well, if you're going to ask them about Yelich, then why not throw Willie Adames and Corbin Burns in there and make a big trade? And who knows? Obviously, we all want something like that, something big to happen, but so far It's just kind of been.
Yeah. Well, another something. There's been a couple more trades lately, a couple more signings.
One big trade.
Yeah, one big trade. What do you want to do? You want to go from small to big or big to small? In regards to
generally, I like to go small to big.
Hey yo!
But you know what? Today we'll start big. Tyler Glasnow going from Tampa Bay to join Shohei Ohtani as a Los Angeles Dodger. Give me your thoughts on this move.
Yeah, I don't know what to feel. I know it was hinging on the speculation or the expectation that he does extend with them, which he did get the extension, 5 years, $135 million, which is a solid chunk of change. Obviously, the Dodgers could afford. But if this were any other team, I would feel like it's a little bit risky because Tyler Glasnow, he's never thrown more than 120 innings in a single season. He's only had 2 seasons where he's thrown over 100. I think in the last 4 years combined, he's made a total of, what's 35 plus 13? 48 starts over the last 4 years. Granted, 2020 was a shortened season, but that's not a lot of innings, I'm a little bit nervous about his health, and I love Tyler Glasnow. I want nothing more than him to be healthy for his whole extension. I don't want him to miss a start. But are we expecting him to make all of his starts or even 2/3 of them? I don't know if you can.
It's so hard to predict. I mean, obviously when he's on the field, he's so good. He's
very good.
Definitely, obviously a top end starter. But yeah, I mean, giving him 5 more years, and the Dodgers wanted it. They were like, no, we're not going to take him unless he signs this, right? So they're kind of banking on, and I get it. They want to, bolster their rotation, and who knows what else they might do. If they get Yamamoto, then if 2 years from now, Tyler Glasnow is your 4th pitcher, that's not bad.
Hell of a rotation.
Yamamoto, Ohtani at the top. I mean, if Walker Buehler comes back and gives you something, you still have Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin on the team. So who knows? Bobby Miller. There's a lot of
moving parts. I feel a lot of ifs.
$27 million a year. seems like a lot, but it's the Dodgers. They got money. So
Yeah. It's not that much when you consider maybe guys like Justin Verlander and Scherzer getting 40.
yeah, it makes guys like Kevin Gausman and Barrios' contracts look really good.
Looks
I know
really good.
everybody was like, after 2022, everybody was kind of laughing at the Blue Jays for what Barrios got. But now, you know, he's getting 17 million a year, something like that. Looks not bad.
That's almost nothing now.
Look,
That's almost nothing.
Almost nothing.
Jack Flaherty is getting 14 on a 1-year deal from Detroit. Like, and I feel like Jose Barrios is a step above, like many steps above Jack Flaherty, to be honest. I mean, we all know Jack Flaherty has that potential, but it's been several years since he's shown that potential of being like a front end guy.
Yeah, it's interesting that that AL Central, because the Tigers picked somebody else up. Who was it? Another starter, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
I'm blanking.
Was it Male?
No, that
Who's
was the
Tyler Male?
The Rangers did.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Maybe he replaces Jordan Montgomery since apparently they can't afford it.
Well, Montgomery is looking for like 200 million, I saw.
That's a big deal. That has to be at least over 7 years. There's no way he gets 6 years with an AAV of 33. I just can't see that happening.
Kenta Maeda, that's the other guy that the Tigers signed.
Oh yeah, that's a solid pickup. I'm kind of a Detroit Tigers believer right now.
Who do you believe more, the Detroit Tigers or the Kansas City Royals? Because Kansas City, they went out, they picked up Seth Lugo, Hunter Renfroe, Michael Wacha. Like those are decent pickups for that team.
Solid pickups. But overall, I still think they're so weak. It's such a weak roster, man. I'm more of a believer in Detroit because I think they have some solid starters, better starters. They got more youth, I feel like. Better youth, I should say. Like, I know the Kansas City Royals have Bobby Witt Jr., who's a superstar. Like, I feel like he needs to get more attention. Like, almost a 30-50 season last year. And I don't know, have we seen a 30-50 season besides Acuna before 2023? Has that ever happened?
I'm not sure. But yeah, he was one stolen base off, right?
One steal away. I was actually at I was at the second to last game of the season where I was telling the GF that I was like, hey, Bobby Wood Jr. has to get one more steal for him to get 30-50. He got on in the second inning or something and went first pitch and got thrown out. And I was so mad.
They knew what
wait,
he was doing.
Wait a pitch. Like, wait a pitch. Just see. Just see.
That's what happens to me in MLB The Show all the time. I love stealing bases in MLB The Show, but I'll definitely get picked off lots.
I'm terrified to steal. Like, everyone can steal against me, and then I got 99 speed, 99 steal, and I can never steal a base. It's terrible.
I don't know. I steal a lot. I never take an extra step lead off. I just go and hope for the best.
I never do either, man. I'm terrified. But anyway, kind of back to the Dodgers trade. Who do you like this trade more for?
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, it all kind of hinges on Glasnow's health. If Glasnow is healthy, I think the edge goes to the Dodgers because that's, if you can get 5 or 6 healthy seasons out of Tyler Glasnow, you're not going to be disappointed. But the Rays, they develop pitching like crazy, and Pepiot. He had a decent season for the Dodgers last year. I think he's going to be really good for the Rays. He's probably going to come in and carve up the Jays 10 times next year.
I agree.
And then
I agree.
I'll take a young Johnny DeLuca over Manuel Margot.
I will too. I mean, I don't really know much about him, but I was looking at Baseball Reference just a little bit last night, and I saw he put up some numbers in the minors, and this year was a small sample size, but he didn't play particularly bad or anything. His Baseball Savant page was not amazing, but I was still kind of like, I think I'd rather have him than Margot.
Yeah,
I
Margot's
think
one of those players.
Solid.
Margot's one of those players that I don't think he ever quite, like, he was pretty hyped up, in 2017 or so, but never quite got there because he's a big time prospect coming up for the Padres, right, before he got moved. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, who knows if Glasnow stays healthy? Even if you get like 3 full seasons out of Glass now, I think. Or if the Dodgers win a World Series in the next 4 years,
Yeah.
then it's probably a win for them.
I agree.
I'm never going to count the
100%.
Rays out. The Rays can trade everybody and cut all their high paid players, and I'm still going to be scared that they're going to win 95 to 100 games in the AL East.
Me too. It just always happens. Like, it always happens.
It always happens.
Yo, I'm gonna stop my virtual camera for a second because I see it flicking all the time. Like, I don't understand what's going on, but let me just stop it and maybe that'll fix it. It was just, I don't know. I saw it was just happening a ton, so sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't look like it fixed it, but whatever. Hopefully, this is just a one weird occurrence.
There's always one weird thing.
It really is. There really is. I wish it would make sense if it was happening on my OBS, but it's not. So that is super
just
weird.
In Discord. This Discord being a B. Whatever.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No problem. I'll cut this out and
sounds good.
We'll go from there. Usually you just listen to the podcasts anyways. You're not really watching when you play them.
True.
So
No. True story, sir. Dude, Johnny DeLuca is just like a fun name to say anyway. So, you know, like there's always those type of dudes on the Rays who don't really get national coverage, even though that they deserve it. Guys like Brandon Lau, like I feel like him, Yandy Diaz, Randy Rosarena, they deserve some more exposure to the just national baseball news.
Yeah,
it's always like it's always dudes that just. Like a couple years ago, it was G-Man Choi. Maybe Johnny DeLuca is going to be that type of dude this go around this year.
Everybody on their team seems to do well. Like it doesn't really seem to matter who. And I don't know. That's what you talk about team-wide approach and this and that, and you can tell that they get their players to buy in, and they all generally perform pretty well. They don't really have one or two guys carrying it ever. It's everybody.
They just all do their part, and it's so good. Like Joey Wendell was great when he played there. Maybe not great, but I mean, he always seemed to be like a scrappy player. Just like I hated watching him against the Braves. I don't even know the stat line, but it just seemed like every time he was at bat for the Rays, he was just like hitting it where they weren't, just like slap hits or something like that.
That's what they do. I mean, I like I watch them so much because the Jays play them. Well, I mean, now it's only 13 times a year, but it was 19 times a year where we were playing them. So it's just like, and it's never easy.
No, it's never easy.
So I don't know. It's I think right now, I think it's kind of a win-win trade. Obviously, well, like any trade, we'll kind of know after a year or two if it really panned out or not. But what else? What else do you think the Dodgers are going to do? Because it seems like they're in on everybody. They're going to keep going. They're looking at Josh Hader. They're looking at Yamamoto.
Dude, I want to I'm not a Dodger hater by any means. There's no team I dislike out there. I just want none of them to do as well as the Braves. But my God, I'm getting strong late 90s, early 2000s Yankees vibes out of the Dodgers right now. Just like a new evil empire. Like if they... with Ohtani, Glass now, if they sign Hader, if they sign Yamamoto, then it's just like, man, I'm going to need some other team to step in and do something. At this point, I want the Yankees to get Yamamoto. Like, I'm hoping for the Yankees to get Yamamoto just to keep him away from the Dodgers. I don't even care if the Mets get him. The Mets can take him. I just want something different. It seemed like the Dodgers are making all the big signings. Again, San Francisco made a big signing, Jung-Ho Lee. The Braves have made some trades, but other than that, it seems like no one's really doing anything super exciting. But anyway, Jung-Ho Lee. What was the deal? 6 years, 113 mil?
You got a lot. I don't think people were expecting him to get over 100 or that much necessarily, but I mean, he was MVP, the KBO, lifetime 340 average, I think, over there. Some people, I think, kind of compare MVP. It to like AA or AAA. So we'll see how he does in the majors. But I mean, you look at Ha-Seong Kim, he's adapted pretty quickly, and he's, he had a great season last year. So
he had a great year. Somewhat same with Masataka Yoshida. He's been pretty good since coming over. There's a lot of exciting guys over in Japan right now who are going to be coming over within the next couple years, and it's just kind of an exciting time. And I don't think anyone was expecting more than like 5 years to $50 million in total for him. But then again, he's only 25. It's not often you see guys in free agency below like 28, 29. They're all usually guys a little bit older. They've gotten paid for what they've done, not necessarily what they're going to do, I feel like, in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So this could be a very, very solid signing for the Giants, and we might start to see more deals like this for higher pay for players coming over from different countries. Like, this might just be the beginning.
Yeah. No, it's like, I mean, obviously great deal for him. I don't really know much about him. I don't know if it really makes the Giants any like that much better. Like, we'll see how he does, but I know the Giants are pretty. They're a weird
got
team.
A lot of work to do.
They were like almost in a playoff spot, kind of like 2/3 of the way through the year last year, and then just fell off after not really making any noise in the beginning of the year. So who knows? Like, they're always a team that I never really count out, because it seems like every once in a while they'll just like do really well. And obviously they had that great stretch in the 2010s. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how. What's that?
Nuts for them. 22 was nuts for them. I don't think anyone saw them winning how many games they won in what was it, 22 or 21? It might have been 21.
When they 107, I think, and then they just got
107 wins. That is a crazy amount of wins for them. I had never would have said they would have won that many games.
Didn't
crazy
make any difference in the playoffs. Just like what's going to happen with the Dodgers for the next 10 years. They'll average 107 wins, and they'll maybe make one NLCS.
I know, right? It's going to be the 90s Braves. Maybe one chip. It's so...
If you had to place a bet on how many World Series, like, even if, let's say Ohtani is healthy for 10 years, like, obviously this year he doesn't pitch. He pitches, let's call it 20 starts a year for 9 years. How many World Series do you think the Dodgers win out of the next 10? 1?
I'm going to say 1.
0?
I think 1. I don't think it's so hard to predict. I could think if there's any team that's set up for it, it's like the Dodgers. You could even say the Braves, if they get some starting pitching they can rely on. But it's so tough to predict, because I don't think anyone predicted the Giants to win 3 in 5 years from like 2010. I think they won in 2010, 2012, and 2014.
Yeah.
So like those rosters,
I don't even know if they made the playoffs in the years in between. Like,
I think you're right. Like, it's so hard to predict, and anything could happen. But like, if you were to tell me that you predicted 4 World Series for the Dodgers to win in the next 10 years, like, it's kind of believable. Like, I can believe it. They just continue to sign players. They continue to stack their farm. Like, they draft well, they develop well. Everyone's like, people step in and perform over there. So it's like, if there's any team I could bank on, or at least getting to the NLCS every year, it's probably the Dodgers. Gives you a good chance, but it's just so hard to finish the job.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, I just looked quick, and like, they won in 2010, 12, and 14. And if you look at every odd numbered year from 2009 to 2015, they didn't even make the playoffs. So
that's crazy, man.
So that's you never know. And then, I mean, like, look at like Texas, obviously, when they signed DeGrom and Seager and all those guys, you're like, okay, maybe they'll do well, but people still didn't think they would be that much better. And then even as the season progressed last year, and they had like an insane offense, people were still kind of like, I don't think so. And then they won the World Series. Nobody expected the Diamondbacks to make the World Series.
Nope.
So you never
crazy, man. And they did that without DeGrom too. So it's like, the Rangers are kind of set up too. And they got some good young guys on offense, like Evan Carter coming up. Just like, when did he get drafted? Did he get drafted in 22? Or did he get drafted this year? I gotta look that up right now. I gotta absolutely look that up right now.
Huh.
Oh, I was wrong. He got drafted in 2020. Jeez. But he's 21 years old. He's 21 years old coming up and making an impact in the playoffs. Like, that's just nuts. You don't
But it's
really
also
see
like
that.
you never know because like Jeremy Pena came up, had a crazy run. They won the World Series, and then like this past year, he was just kind of like he's just like a good player. But
Yeah. I got a buddy in my fantasy league who's been trying to trade me Jeremy Pena, and he's kind of like hyping him up like, oh, he's absolutely a keeper. And I'm just like, is he? Like, he's a great
Who
defender,
knows?
but that doesn't. Yeah, I don't think like nothing he really does at the plate warrants him to be a keeper in a deep fantasy league. But that's a different story. Yeah, like Josh Young, Evan Carter, those guys, Jonah Heim. Like, of
Yeah.
course, you got Seager and Semyon just going crazy, and I feel like they project
Adolis.
the age.
Let's not forget about
Yeah.
Adolis.
Can't forget about Adolis. How could I? How could I forget about Adolis? Dude's the most jacked dude I've ever seen. He's like Terry Crews in the majors. Like,
He's a beast.
He is an absolute.
I need Vlad to get on the Adolis workout train or meal plan or whatever plan he's on to get like that. Because I swear, like Vlad has never been in like the greatest shape as far as like if you just look at him, you're like, oh my god, that is like that guy's a statue. But he's still like, Vlad still smashes the ball 100 million miles. Like he's got the swing
100%.
and the pop. And well, he's been working out. Actually, I think they've been working out at the same place or have the same off-season trainer. This lady down in Florida, Nicole Gabriel. I was checking out her Instagram, and it was like Adolis was there, Jordan, Vladdy. Cool. So they're all, I think, when they're not doing other things, they're down there working out. That's so hopefully, Vlad gets back on track. Manoah's been working out hard this off-season.
I hope so.
Those are the biggest things for the Jays. We can sign whoever, but if our main core of players does not perform the way that we need them to, then we're not going to do anything.
They got to produce, man. They got to produce, and I hope they do.
Yeah,
I hope they do.
Like everybody thought like the ceiling was so high. I really felt like we could have hit 250 to 300 home runs last year, but just didn't, even with losing Teoscar. But
I think it could still happen this year for sure. Like I still think the Jays are one of the more exciting teams to watch. Like I've thought that about the last couple years, to be honest. I mean, Vlad, Bo. I thought Kevin Biggio was really gonna pan out. That didn't really happen. Teoscar Hernandez was fun to watch over there. Obviously the pitchers like Kevin Gossman, Braves legend. Shout out to you. And Yusei Kikuchi, of course, like the other dudes.
Yeah, I'm not worried. Chris Bassett, Barrios.
Bassett, forgot about Bassett. I knew like
I'm not worried about our pitching, but our pitching was great last year. We just couldn't score any runs, so I don't know. We'll see.
Who's a like sleeper team that you're thinking of? Like could surprise us all in 24?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know if there's really like we'll have to kind of have to wait and see what happens the rest of the off season, because
agreed.
Like it's hard to like I don't think the Diamondbacks would be considered a sleeper team anymore after making the World Series.
Yeah, 100%.
I think so far like they've gotten better adding like Erod and stuff.
Yeah,
like are the Mets ever a sleeper team when your payroll's what it is, even after performing poorly?
I know.
Like maybe somebody in the Central, like maybe the Reds might be kind of a sleeper team.
Reds would be cool. The Reds would be cool. Didn't they just sign someone as well?
Yeah,
they made a starter. I'll tell you what, I really want Ellie De La Cruz to step up his game. I want him to progress next year. Like he needs to. He was crushing it in the minors last year. He had a very, very strong like first couple of weeks, month, maybe, but just kind of fell off. Has an OPS plus of 89 to finish the year, OPS of 710. Wait a minute, he stole 35 bags this year? He stole 35 bags this year. That is quite a bit in the amount of time he played.
He's fast.
He's super fast.
I'm like looking
40
Reds.
potential.
Yeah, no, Red signed Candelario.
That's who they signed.
Nick Martinez.
That's not a bad couple signings, though. Really not a bad couple signings. I'm kind of all about it.
Yeah, that would probably be my sleeper pick because they missed the playoffs this year.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. They just missed out. I wonder where Joey Votto lands if he plays another year.
I have no idea. There was lots of people being like, "Oh, he should come play for the Jays because he's Canadian and whatever." And like, it would be cool, but I don't know if I want 40-year-old Joey Votto in the lineup every day, like a bench bat, maybe. But is he going to want to come be a bench bat? And like,
I think he wants to win. He's never made the World Series before. He's never won any significant playoff series that I can remember. I know he doesn't have a ring. I think he would. You almost have to think he wants that. Like, I would love to see him in Toronto and like maybe being a mentor to all the young guys out there, like Vlad Jr. You know, he's got good plate discipline. And maybe if Joey Votto signs in Toronto, Vlad Jr. will never pop up to the first baseman in foul territory for the rest of his career.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not. I hope not.
I wouldn't mind having Joey Votto as like a coach. I don't know if I want him to play.
Player coach.
So we'll see.
Make it happen. Player coach. I'd love it. I'm all about this. I want Joey Votto for the Blue Jays. Make it happen. Or maybe it would be so weird if he signed with the Rays though. I don't know why that popped into my mind, but just thinking of Joey Votto in a Rays uniform down in Florida just makes zero sense to me.
The Royals will be Hunter Renfroe's 7th team in 6 years.
We got another Edwin Jackson situation.
Guy just goes everywhere. He was very
Literally
bad. He was very bad last year. He's one of those guys.
Dude, I drafted him. Believe me, I know. I drafted him in fantasy. Of course I did.
I wonder what he'll do in Kansas City. Kind of a sneaky pickup for them.
Potentially. Yeah, he's potentially going to be good.
I mean,
I don't know about it. I'm not buying it.
Compared to like who's on their team.
True.
Like,
Good
I
point.
think it's an improvement from like I couldn't even name you like half the starters on offense for the Royals.
Yeah, I saw them 10 times and I couldn't name them either.
Yeah, honest. You can go watch, a Michael Wacha start this season now.
Dude, talk about Michael Wacha. Dude's getting paid, man. He's getting a lot more money. Are we rolling, by the way?
We are. I feel
like this is solid. Okay. He's getting paid, by the way. Like, was it 32 mil over 2 years? That is that more than anything. I think so.
Sheesh.
Like, Royals. I know, right? He had a decent year though.
Yeah, he was good. That's the thing. I mean, pitching, man, you never know. This is like the Tyler Glasnow, and when in 5 years from now, Tyler Glasnow could be the best pitcher in the league at 35, right?
True. You never know. You just never know. Via John Heyman, the Royals have added Seth Lugo, Michael Wacha, Hunter Renfroe, Will Smith, Chris Stratton, and Kyle Wright. That's a lot of signings. Like,
I forgot they picked up Will Smith.
Yeah, and I mean, they're winning the World Series, obviously, because Will Smith's been on the World Series champion team every single year, the last 3. So, I mean,
you know what? I won't
Kansas City has all the power.
I won't count out any team in the AL Central from winning that division. You
can't really.
You can't. They still have like some, like obviously Bobby Witt, like Vinny P, Salvi still could give you like 40 bombs. Brady Singer, like Cole Reagans,
I'm excited to watch him pitch.
Like,
they could have a sneaky good rotation, to be honest.
Yeah, they put up a fight at the end of the year. They kind of played really well, actually. I think the last like 6 weeks, there were a lot of games against the Mariners that they ended up losing most of them, but they were like coming back from down 5, Bobby Witt Jr. grand slams and like almost beating the Mariners. So
I'm
who knows?
I'm kind of excited because they do have the makings for a comeback team or like a sleeper team, to be honest. Like Brady Singer is just 1 year removed of having a pretty solid year. His 2022 was very, very good. I'm hoping he can bounce back. Like Cole Reagan's looked ridiculous at the end of last year. So if they perform kind of similar to their peaks or whatever so far, that's a sneaky 1-2 punch. There's not a whole bunch of lefties that can throw like Cole Reagan's.
Well,
there's really not.
Have the Twins gotten better this offseason? Like Sonny Gray's gone.
No way.
Have the Guardians gotten better? The White Sox, like none of these teams are getting any better. Detroit maybe? Like you could, like Detroit or Kansas City could easily win that. Maybe not easily, but they both have a shot to win that division. Like if Torkelson and Kerry Carpenter and some of those young guys step it up this year.
Javi
Baez, I mean, whatever. He's just going to be, he's a $20 million a year bench player at this point.
For real. Like he's not even that old. Like he's 30, 31 maybe.
I thought he was going to be so good. I was a big fan of like 2015 Javi Baez.
2015 Javi Baez was good. Very, very good. It's a shame. It really is a shame because I thought he was going to have such a better career. Okay. I thought he was going to have such a better career than what he's done. It's been low-key just kind of miserable. Kind of miserable. Oh, look at that. Javi Baez jersey. There we go.
Baez jersey alert.
Baez jersey alert. Like that's a World Series jersey, too.
Oh,
the gold.
Yeah, it's sick, man. It's actually a really nice jersey. Like, it's got the champions.
That's solid. That's solid. Oh, speaking of Javi Baez, happy belated birthday to Javi Baez. He just turned 31 December 1st. Couple weeks ago. Dude, I didn't realize it was this bad. Okay. I knew he had a bad year, but I didn't realize it was this bad.
Dude, his on base was like 230.
His batting average is 222, which is like kind of, on par. I figured it would be that bad. On base percentage 267. Slugging percentage though. This is where it gets really bad. 325 slugging percentage for a guy you paid to hit bombs or at least doubles.
So his
an
OPS is like
plus of 62. 62 OPS plus.
Yeah.
An OPS of under 600. You're paying this man 20 mil.
I thought Dalton Varsho had a bad offensive year.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. I would have dropped Javi Baez if he were on my fantasy team. I did not drop Dalton Varsho. Oh, my God. That's pathetic.
Varsho,
I'd hate to say pathetic because
that's bad.
Like, that's a bad word.
You look at his like third of a season with the Mets. The dude had like an 800, 900 OPS when that half a year he played in the Mets, and then he turned that into whatever his contract was, hundreds of millions.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what's he doing in the offseason, or how is he preparing, or what is his actual like demeanor? What does he care about? Is he okay with getting the bag and calling it quits? I'm not saying he's doing that by any means. I don't like saying that about players. I really hate it, but I'd be stupid to say that thought hasn't crossed some people's minds that they can relax now that they've secured a contract. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to assume that about anyone, but I'm sure it's happened at some point.
Yeah, I know he was he was in Puerto Rico last week when Barrios and Vladdy had like a charity softball game, and he was down there. I don't know if you saw that video of Vlad hitting metal bat homers in that derby they had. I did. But like Javi Baez was in that. So he was there. I know he loves baseball for sure. Who knows? Who knows what's happened? Like you never know. What kind of
you never know. That was kind of lame of me to
careers go.
say that, but yeah, for real. I want him to
Javi
do well.
Baez doesn't care. You heard it here at the dish.
No.
Sign my jersey.
I'm sorry.
Sign my jersey,
I'm
Baez.
Sorry.
I still believe.
I'm sorry.
Smells good.
Again, I never said he doesn't care. Never said that.
I think that's his hat. Like pretty sure that's what he said.
Oh man. It just sucks to see. I like Javi Baez as a
he was
person.
So exciting.
He still could potentially. He's not like, it's not like he's 40 years old.
He'll still
He's
give
31.
you
He's 31. He just needs to cut down on the strikeouts by a little bit. Just maybe swing at some pitches that are, yeah. Oh, yeah. A little
when you're
bit's
like
a very,
the
very
punchline
strong
of
word.
every like, how do you swing at that meme? That's kind of, it's not a good
That's
sign.
true. He only walked 24 times. Dude, it's what's weird is that he only has 125 strikeouts last year. That like, I would have thought it was 200, but he only walked 24 times. He just making some soft contact, probably on balls out of the zone.
Yeah.
You almost want some more swings and misses on those type of balls. If I'm just like, I didn't watch him play at all, but I'm just looking at his stat line, and that's where I'm getting this.
I didn't
solution.
watch him play at all.
Yeah,
but I know he doesn't care.
24 walks is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
like
not very many. How many games
not
did he
at
play?
all. 136. He had 510 at bats, 547 plate appearances.
Okay.
So, like
that's full season.
That's where I'm. Yeah, basically a full season. With it's weird to say only in front of this stat, but only 125 strikeouts. You know, like you see all the stars having good seasons, and they strike out 125 times, sometimes 150 times. So I'm guessing he's just making a lot of soft contact on pitches outside the zone, maybe free swinging a little bit. Well, not maybe. He's definitely free swinging a lot. But
well, yeah, how many strikeouts did Kyle Schwarber have this year? I bet you it was way more.
Oh, dude. Yeah, 100%.
200?
100%. Probably. The good thing about Kyle Schwarber is he doesn't make soft contact.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Everything
it's
hard.
Fine. It's fine if you strike out a million times if you're hitting 50 bombs a year.
And also walking. He struck out 215 times.
Yeah.
215 times. He also walked 126 times.
His average was 197.
Yes.
And he still finished with an OPS of 817. This dude got MVP votes hitting under 200, but if you hit 47 bombs, doesn't matter. He walked 126 times, though. So that's
a lot of walking, man. That's a lot of walking.
Only 5 intentional walks, too. So he's... Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Like, where I was going with the whole age thing, we were talking about the Royals, right?
Yeah.
Like, they could be a sneaky good team. And it's not like Salvador Perez is 40 years old, despite watching him play. If you were to tell me he's only, I think he's going to be 34 this year.
What? He's only 33. I actually didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't believe
you would think he's 40 years old, man, with the way he plays.
And he's been in the league forever.
He's been in the league for so long, man. If he can, hit like 30 home runs. If he can hit 30 home runs, have like an OPS plus of around 100. If Vinny Pasquantino can come back and, kind of progress of where he was when he came up and had his first full year. Bobby Wood Jr. does what he does last year. Hunter Renfroe maybe hits like 25 to 30 bombs. I know it's not exactly like a easy park to hit bombs in Kauffman Stadium.
What do you think of Drew Waters? Because he was a prospect for you guys, wasn't he?
Man, yeah, he was a prospect for the Braves. I was super excited about him. Switch hitter. I like him. I like him a lot as far as just like being a switch hitter and maybe having a little bit of upside. He's going to be 25 for this upcoming year.
He kind of struggled last year.
Yeah, he's struggled in his time in the bigs. He has struggled. But, I mean, I would love for him to progress a little bit. He had a decent year in 22. Granted, he only played 32 games, but pretty good showing. I would love for him to get back to that sort of form. And, he's young. I think he plays a pretty decent center field. I got to see him a little bit this year in person. But, like, he has some talent. So if he can find that talent, like MJ Melendez, if he steps up, he has some good potential. Like it could be an exciting team. I said this last year. It just didn't happen. It just didn't pan out. And I'm hoping this year could happen. I mean, they have some pieces. That could be very exciting. So I kind of like what they're doing. They're giving it a shot. And them signing players in this offseason could give them a little bit of a morale boost. it kind of shows that the GM and the front office believe in them a little bit. They could make a little bit of a run at the Central. Like, do I have the balls to say that they will finish in the top 2 in the AL Central? Do I have the balls?
I don't think that's as hot of a take as people would think.
Yeah, I mean, who are they going to compete with? Cleveland, of course. But I mean, it's not like they're making any improvements. I feel like
Cleveland just has really good starters. That's about it. And Class A, and J Ram.
He didn't even have great of a year last year.
I guess they got Josh Naylor and stuff, but I don't know.
Josh and Bo Naylor.
I don't look at Cleveland's lineup and get scared.
Me neither. Andres Jimenez. Like, he took a big step back last year. I think they extended him, and his analytics showed that he was getting a little bit lucky. And I think last year that showed that maybe his previous season was a little bit lucky.
I need Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s analytics to match. I think if you look at his expected WXOBA or whatever, he had the biggest differential from what his actual was, I think, in the league. Vlad Jr. So Vlad, give me those 50 bombs. I just need one 150 homer season from Vlad, and I'll be a happy Jays fan.
That would be solid. I'd like that. Like that a lot. 50 homers. It can happen.
It can.
I believe it. Anything else happen in the last couple of days?
Not really. Nothing's happening. We're just waiting. We're waiting for Yamamoto to sign. We're waiting for Bellinger, JD Martinez, Jorge Soler, all these guys to kind of hater. And I think it's all going to happen, and then it's just going to be waiting for spring training. But after, I think we're all kind of exhausted, especially up in Canada after this whole Ohtani ordeal. I couldn't have cared less about his press conference at this point.
I know, right?
Did you hear about his dog's name? Oh my God.
I did.
If this is real.
How is that true? Or it's different if his dog was always named this.
Well, apparently he's got a Japanese name that sort of sounds like it, but then it's his dog's American name is Decoy, and apparently Ohtani was just aware of all this flight stuff and was just sitting at home laughing. And I'm 100% convinced he was never going to actually be a Blue Jay or an Angel or any other team. He was going to be a Dodger all along. They got $700 million out of him, and we're all just I think we all just look like dummies. Even the media, everybody looks dumb. Because it's everybody was right, stupid, but everybody was wrong. And it's just I don't think it needed to be such a... It was weird because they wanted it to obviously be so private and downplay it and whatever. But then it ended up just being crazier. And I don't know. There's too many rumors. Who knows what's true and what's not. But
I know, right? It's tough. It's very, very tough. I don't know what to believe either.
After all is said and done, I want the Dodgers to perform poorly. I don't wish anything bad on any of them. I don't want them to get hurt. I just don't want them to win. I want them to lose.
I do too, man.
And I kind of I liked Ohtani a lot. I like the Dodgers a lot, but now I just have a bad taste in my mouth. And it's not even that we didn't get him. I don't mind that we're not spending $700 million on Ohtani. I would have defended that contract till the cows come home if he would have signed with us, but he didn't. And I think we feel used.
I'm not a Dodger hater by any means. And I think the entire deal is boring. But when the deferred money came out, I almost threw up. I almost threw up a little bit, seeing that he would get 68 mil of his 70 mil per year getting deferred. That's just it feels dirty, man. I know everything is legal about it. There's technically nothing wrong with him doing that, and that he's the only person that you have to worry about doing this sort of thing, because his endorsements. By the way, your video on YouTube explained it very, very well. Y'all go check my man out if you have questions about the video or questions about Otani's deal. His video goes over everything, explains it very well.
I did a lot of learning about the CBT and the tax, how the taxing works, and Major League Baseball pay structure is so weird.
It's strange, man.
It is, and it's just like strange. There's with the whole arbitration thing and all these. I don't know. All I know is that, I'm not a fan of the Dodgers for the next 10 years. Right.
Like it just feels. I feel dirty.
It is weird.
It just feels dirty, man.
I think it's just a way for that in 2034 when his playing contract's up, is that it's going to somehow turn into like X percentage of Dodgers ownership stake.
That would be interesting.
You know what? We have this $680 million we owe you. We're going to give you some cash and some,
shares.
Yeah.
A lot of shares.
He'll join the group with Magic Johnson and whoever. And I mean, he puts in that clause that's like you can't fire if you fire the owner sells it, or if who's it, the GM, or
I think the GM Friedman, I think, right?
Friedman gets fired, then I can just leave. It's like, oh, that's crazy. That's a crazy but
Friedman's got to feel good about his job security right now then.
Yeah. They're not going anywhere. It's funny that they people saw that clause and they thought it was for his translator. If you fire my translator, I can leave. And it was like, oh, that's a good friendly move. And it's like, no. It's way bigger than that. Nothing's that simple, as we all learned.
Yeah, nothing is that simple. And I think, what is it? If the Dodgers finish with consecutive seasons with less than 90 wins, he can opt out.
Oh, is that an actual thing too? I didn't see that.
I think I saw that, if I'm correct. Like,
could you imagine? But like, that's a kind of a crazy thing.
I just don't see that.
If like injuries can, like so many things that can happen, you could still potentially win that division with 89 wins. Like, it's not like if everything goes a certain way, like who knows? It's not likely, but it's possible.
I'm not 100% sure on that, so take it with a grain of salt. I saw it somewhere, though.
That would be new.
So that's a strange stipulation for a contract. Not as strange, but just like a rare. Rare is the better word, I think.
Yeah, I'm over it. At this point, I'm just whatever. Let the Dodgers get everybody. The Dodgers are going to do what they've done the last 10 years and blow it in the playoffs.
I feel like they got a target on their back right now, to be honest.
Oh, 100%.
Like they're starting to be the evil empire of baseball. Baseball needs an enemy, to be honest. Baseball needs a bad guy. It does so much better as a whole when there's a bad guy. I mean, 2017, it was the Astros. Like, and several years following that, everybody had the Astros number. And right now, Dodgers are up there, I think.
Yep.
Especially if they get Yamamoto. So
the thing I think that as time has gone on the last week that I dislike more and more is that I don't disagree that the Yankees and the Dodgers being loaded, like I do agree that it's good for baseball in the way that the Lakers being good is good for the NBA, you know, in the way that the Dallas Cowboys being good is good for the NFL. Like, it makes sense. I get it. Like, I don't like it because I'm not a fan of these teams and I want them to do poorly, but even you look at last year, the Rangers and the Diamondbacks, you know, baseball fans were like, this is exciting. Even myself, I watched like the first game, which was crazy, and I didn't really watch much of the rest of it. I was just kind of like, eh.
Yep.
And it was went down as like one of the least watched World Series of all time, or the last 10 years or whatever. So who knows? I mean,
I didn't watch an inning, but
if it's Juan Soto versus Shohei Ohtani in the World Series, everybody's going to be watching it.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
and the Yankees
100%.
and the Dodgers. That would be, I don't see that happening, but that would be crazy. As much as we all hate it, we would be watching it. We would be watching.
We would.
We'd be watching it.
Yes, we would.
Like, nobody's gonna boycott watching the Dodgers after this. It's only gonna have them have more eyes on it. So
it's a scary top half of the lineup. Like, you could argue is that the best 3 in a lineup we've seen like in a long time, assuming they hit them back to back to back. Betts, Freeman, Shohei.
Probably. I mean, you could almost put anybody in the Angels of the last few years, and having to pitch to Ohtani and Trout back to back. Like, is that better or worse? Like, I don't know. Similar. Like that year that Taylor Ward went off, like, because he was like, it was those guys 3 in a row. I think
I picked him up in fantasy too, and he sucked. Or he didn't suck, but he had a down year. So sorry, Angels fans. It's all my fault. I drafted Ward and Renfroe, and they both were terrible. So you can blame me. It's all because of me. And I apologize. It's a half-assed apology, but it is.
I think on paper right now that 3 is probably the scariest looking 3 in a row that you'd have to potentially face in a half inning in all of baseball.
Yeah. It's definitely,
like, seeing Soto and Judge back to back is going to be scary. You know, there was a time when Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette back to back was really scary.
Yeah. Of course, you got Acuna, Olsen, Riley, but they don't hit like 3 in a row. Like, it's going to be Acuna, maybe Ozzy, Riley, Olsen, which is pretty scary. But except for Ozzy, he doesn't have that much.
Well, he hit like 30
compared to the other
and
he does, Ozzy, but he's more of a free swinger. Like he's definitely not as scary to me as Riley, Olsen, and Acuna. But I mean, he's a very good hitter. Very good hitter. Now, if it's a lefty throwing, absolutely. He can just mash lefties, and that's just tough lineup from top to bottom. But I mean, that's a scary 3. Scary 3. We'll see what happens with their pitching too. If their pitching holds up, then I mean, that's a 100+ win team, absolutely, like, without a doubt.
Who knows? Whatever. It's
going to be interesting.
Dodgers always win 100+ games. Who's not used to it?
Right?
Does it, like, as betting odds? Getting Ohtani and Glasnow and potentially Yamamoto obviously pushes them to probably number 1 in the league as far as winning the World Series betting odds. But, you know, I'd still take the field over the Dodgers every single time. So
same here. You're not alone there.
All I know is the Blue Jays are just going to get hot at the end of September. They're going to win like 40 games in a row, and then they're just going to win the World Series, and I'll be happy.
That's right.
I'm still waiting for the Blue Jays Braves World Series, and we can have our little bet that we've talked about for years.
That needs to happen. I know, right? It's the jersey, right?
Jersey, yeah.
Perfect.
Buy the other person. I'll buy you.
We have to choose the player.
Braves jersey you want.
Yeah. Buy you whatever. Yeah. Yes. It will be like I don't know how to describe it. It'll be like an unsung hero or something. I don't know. If it was
like
the 2021
Orlando Arcia jersey, or
pretty much, I'd buy you the Will Smith jersey.
Whoever ends up being MVP, I mean, that'd be a cool one.
That would be cool.
Would we do one of the World Series ones, like one of these ones, when the season starts the next year?
I feel like we'd have to,
because those ones are so nice.
That's the only way.
Every year, like whatever comes out for the Rangers in the beginning of the year is going to look so sick. The gold trim, the gold accent jerseys they look so good.
Yes, that would be tight.
Hell yeah!
Very tight.
Everybody, as always, we appreciate you hanging out with us here at the Dish.
Thank you.
Find us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Amazon,
YouTube. Do we already say YouTube? Well, YouTube twice. Pull it up on 2 different
YouTube. Yeah, subscribe with all your Ghost accounts on YouTube. Give us all the watch time.
Please.
Appreciate all your support.
You want to.
You want to. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.
Bye.